Everybody, it's your girl Angie with Kiss My Cheeks TV, and I have my good YouTube BFF Charles Warren with Charles Warren Online and CharlesWarrenPresents.com, all his good products.
Yes.
And somebody alarm going off. Me and Charles had an emergency 2 cents live video we need to do because we got some comments and some things to say. Now, if you all haven't watched, I'm not that high tech. I don't have the video. Hey, Marlon, thank you for joining us tonight. Marlon said, "Hey, Charles."
What's Marlon? What's up? What's going on?
I don't have the technical brain to play the video and talk about it as we go. So I hope you all watched. We just gonna talk about what we saw. Let me tell you how it all went down. What we're talking about tonight is LeRoy from the challenge. LeRoy, who we both love from the challenge, did an IG live. It was about a 30-minute video of him explaining why he retired from the challenge so fast, and it just seemed like he stopped doing the challenge out of nowhere. Now, Charles sent me this video yesterday, and I admitted to him I was busy at work and I didn't watch it till today. So as soon as I finished, probably within 25 minutes of the video, I was like, "Charles, I'm going live tonight. Do you want to come with me?" I said, "Are you down?" Charles was like, "I'm down." So here we are.
Right.
So
she should know by now that I don't just send you nothing for no reason. If I send you something, you need to click it and you need to watch it.
And I have to start watching them right away. But I was instantly just through the whole thing. At one part, I almost shed a tear. I'm not an emotional person, but my eyes did water because I related to LeRoy in so many ways. I'm proud of him for making this statement. And I just have some things I want to address or just get my 2 cents out to add on to what LeRoy said. And I know Charles is going to be right there with me. I want to shout out everybody saying hey in the chat. Alana, Michelle, we see y'all out there. So let's get right into it. So I took some notes so I wouldn't lose track, but we might jump all over the place. Like I said, I hope you all watched, and I want to state this in the beginning. This is going to be a conversation about race, racism, big corporations, pandering, all of that stuff. If you're sensitive to those subjects, this might not be the live for you. We will be back with our regular challenge live tomorrow night with the trio. And you know what, we'll do shits and giggles about the challenge. But if you are sensitive to these types of conversations, this might not be the live for you. So let's get right into it.
I agree.
I was very curious about why LeRoy retired so fast, because I am one of the people who thought LeRoy had a lot more challenges left into him. He just got real serious with Cam. I was ready to see LeRoy and Cam kind of dominate in some seasons going forward. So I was really curious to see what he had to say. He says at this moment, and if you all don't know, we're talking about the Camilla situation that happened on Dirty 30. LeRoy breaks down the Camilla situation. If you watch the video, he goes step by step of what was going on, and he broke down how he felt in the moment, and that's what touched me the most. The first thing I want to talk about is he said he had to wait. It took him so long to speak out about this because he had to wait until he freed himself from MTV to speak freely. That's my let's jump into some more because I got some more to say. He said in the Camilla situation, the first thing he noticed is Camilla, Charles, should I go back over what happened, or do you think everyone knows what happened in that Camilla situation?
I think we can do it by sections because it moved. So you can talk about the room situation first, and then we can discuss that, and then like the deliberation, discuss that. But
okay, so let's break it down. So in the Camilla situation, LeRoy says he finally feels that he's able to speak about it. The first thing LeRoy said before he even broke it down moment by moment is he wanted to apologize to himself and forgive himself for not being able to say what he needed to say. What was that, 5 years ago, whenever 30 was? He had
Mm-hmm.
to apologize to himself for not saying what he needed to say then. The first thing I want to address is, LeRoy, if you ever come across this, I didn't feel like you needed to apologize to yourself because you did nothing wrong to apologize to yourself for. That was the first thing that hurt me, is that we have to internalize so much, put up with so much bullshit, and be silent to the point that we have so much internal guilt about our silence that we feel like we need to, place some blame on ourselves for a situation. Like, I need to apologize to myself for, not doing what I should have did back then. When, as we jump into it, he did nothing wrong. It was everyone else in that situation that failed him. He did not fail himself.
Yes.
Everyone else surrounding that situation failed him. So that was my first point, because that was the first thing he said that touched me. Because I was like, damn, he gotta, that's some heavy guilt when you have to forgive yourself.
Yeah. Me too. When he said that at the beginning, I was tuned in, because even as like a person that is like outspoken now, and I will read you to the ground and
Mm-hmm.
above now, but there have been moments in the past looking at my younger self, and I think that's what he was doing, reflecting on his younger self, where he
Mm-hmm.
was like, dang, it was like you being cornered. Like, there's nobody that has your back. You're the only brown person in this room, and you just freeze. It's almost like a fight or flight like instinct. You freeze because you don't want to come off as like intimidating or overreacting, or oh my god, you always bringing up the race card, da 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 da, what they like to say. So I completely understand that portion, and from there on, I was tuned in.
I agree with you, Charles. When he said that, my attention was caught. Like, I stopped what I was doing. I watched the video because I was like, okay, this is going to be deep. This is not no little, I'm going to just say 2 seconds about the Camilla situation. I knew that this was getting ready to get deep. So after LeRoy apologized to himself, he started to break down the situation scene by scene. The first thing he breaks down is, I believe that they just got back home. It was a drunken night. Everybody was drunk.
Mm-hmm.
They were in the room trying to discuss something about who was going in. I don't remember the exact lingo, but they were discussing the ladies of the show. And Camilla thought that they were talking about her. We all know the Camillinator. She has that name and reputation for a reason. It's not just something funny you give to someone. She's the Camillinator because she's cuckoo crazy when she gets drunk, and she likes to fight, curse, and be violent. So it seemed like, I don't remember how it went down, but somehow her attention focused on LeRoy. Like, LeRoy was the one saying her name. And I think LeRoy was, he's always the innocent of it all. He's never known for starting shit on these shows. And she attacked him. As soon as she said it, I was pissed back then. And him saying it pissed me off all over. I think she called him you black motherfucker, whatever she said. It was the point that she put black in there. Like,
Right.
you just can't be a motherfucker. You just can't be an asshole. You got to be a black one. And when people attach race to their comment, how they want to go off on you, it's now a racist comment. Because
Yeah.
if you would have just called him a motherfucker, then that ain't nothing. But once you say black and you have to attach my race to it, now it's a
Mm-hmm.
racist comment.
Because it
And so,
distinguishes the fact that when you look at me, you acknowledge my blackness. You
mm-hmm.
you acknowledge that I am not just one of these men in this room. You see me as the black one.
The
So
only black one.
exactly. So her bringing up the race is a huge part of it, because, like you said, it could have just been an insult, but no, she didn't. She couldn't
You added
be.
race to it. And what makes this the thing we talk about a lot when we say people of color versus black, African American, Camilla is a person of color, and you would think people of color should be more sensitive to it, But it shows you, even within the Hispanic community, they recognize race. They recognize I'm more of a whiter Hispanic and you're a black Hispanic.
Mm-hmm.
So they have racism within their own community. But you would think, oh, I'm Brazilian, you're black. We probably the only two people of color in this room. But no, I'm still going to attack you and be racist towards you. So the first thing LeRoy said is, when she first said something racist, it was kind of like you said, he froze. And he was looking around the room to who was going to say something. Like, who did everybody hear what I heard?
Right.
Like,
Do you hear what
he
I
said
hear?
it was the silence. He was like, it was complete silence around everyone in his room, the production that was in the room. He said he felt like, I'm just here to make a scene. Like, it's lights, camera, action. No one cares that she just insulted me and with a racist comment.
Mm-hmm.
So he said that was his first fear, because he then recognized he was alone. And that saddened me there, because I'm like, damn, your best friend Banana's sitting right there and you feel alone.
Right. But at this moment, he also, which was like irking my spirit, LeRoy was like, they were quiet. But in their confessionals, my boy Bananas spoke up for me. And if Bananas was really about that life and was really your boy, he would have said something in that moment, in that room.
Charles, you're reading my mind. We're jumping a little bit ahead, but let's go ahead and get there, because within the conversation, LeRoy did say everyone around him was silent, but he wanted to speak up for Jimmy and Brittany and Brad and Bananas, who all said something in the confessional.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, in the confessional? Don't they film these confessionals 2-3 months after the show? Even if they said something that night in like a secret confessional, down the hall that night, no one spoke up in that moment. And to me, your silence in that moment speaks more than your talking in a confessional. Because in a confessional, you're doing what me and you're doing. We talking to a camera. We don't know if that confessional will ever see the light of day. Right now, to me, in the confessional, we're pandering
to America. We know
for the
America is
aftermath.
watching this.
Right. We're pandering to the aftermath of this situation. We want to be on the right side of it, in case they show it. But if they don't, in the room, I said nothing.
Right. Because I think at that time in the conversation, if I'm not mistaken, he didn't bring up Jimmy and them yet. It was just Bananas at that moment. Because he also said Bananas either said something to her or threw something at
Threw a
her.
pillow.
And then she came back, but at LeRoy.
That was the second attack. Bananas, I hate the way he defends his so-called best friend, because to me, Bananas is the biggest bitch in this situation. And it really shows Bananas' character. Like, I'm Black Lives Matter, at home on the telephone. But when it's on a national platform, I'm silent. He said at least Bananas did something. When she walked out the room, Bananas threw a pillow at her, kind of saying, fuck you. But to me, that's not what he said. That was just Bananas being an asshole. When the pillow was thrown, Camilla immediately turned around. He said violently threw the pillow at him and called him a black motherfucker again, when she didn't even know who did it. She just immediately said the black person threw it, so I'm gonna attack you again. I don't like how he's defending Bananas, because Bananas, call it what it is, at that time was the face of the show. If Bananas said something, it was what was said, it was what was right. People follow him blindly because he was the face of the show.
To be honest, he's still the face of the show, and he's not even on the show. If Bananas came back, the viewership would go back up.
So, I agree. But don't you think at that moment, Bananas also being someone who used to date Camilla, so he has some kind of rapport on how to calm her down, how to give her correction. He could have said, you're drunk, you're being racist. You know, he could have called her out. He said nothing. And then just in a confessional saying, I don't tolerate anything racist, any racist comment. I don't tolerate. You don't tolerate it on your confessional, but in the moment you tolerated it because you didn't even give her a correction or say, Camilla, you wrong. No one even spoke up and said, Camilla, LeRoy didn't even say shit about you. It was me. Like, nobody even said it was me. So everybody in that room can get an FU.
Right.
You
For
know,
me
when you
too.
watch stuff on television, I didn't know how deep it was. I knew how deep it was. I didn't know how LeRoy felt and how deep he held those feelings. When he talked about it and I replayed that episode in my mind, like my heart broke for him. Because I had to remember, yes, this is a time when LeRoy was the only black man in the room. He's more scared of being the angry black man. He's more scared of how he's going to look for responding than being able to honestly say how he feels.
Right. Same thing Davon was preaching on Big Brother, but people were missing the point.
Mm-hmm.
It also says something that LeRoy mentioned. Security is always there. You know,
Yeah,
security is in
they
the
never
room,
stopped her.
but they're just chilling, like they don't see her going but wow. You know, she was all up in his face. She was, if I remember the episode correctly, she was
She
right
was
there
in
on
his
him.
face.
She was right there on him. So if it was two men, would y'all have let that happen, continue, or were y'all going to wait for her to actually hurt him with an object? Knowing her, she could have really done some damage. Camilla was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Well, I want to test your challenge brain, and people in the comments let me know if I'm right or wrong. I believe this was also the season 30
Dirty 30.
what is it called? Dirty 30.
Dirty 30. Mm-hmm.
This was also the season earlier before the Camilla situation happened. They were all on a bus, and didn't Jordan make some kind of joke about Jimmy having Down syndrome, like a Down syndrome face, or something about a? He made some kind of joke where he was calling Jimmy slow.
Right. I don't know. Mm-hmm.
I believe this. What y'all in the comments?
Y'all
Let me
gotta
know if
tell
I'm
us that
right
in
or
the
wrong.
comments. I'm not sure.
Yes, yes, he did. In that same season, this was early in the season.
Was this the same season that Nelson hit Derek? No.
I think this is also the same. I think that was all Dirty 30. But this is my point for the Jordan situation. That season, as soon as Jordan made that comment about Jimmy having Down syndrome, look like a Down syndrome person, the bus went silent and everyone said, Jordan, you wrong for that. Jordan, you wrong for that. Matter of fact, all the women gathered around Jimmy went in on Jordan like, you fucked up for that. You was fucked up for that. They even went to the point where they were like, Jordan, you were so fucked up for that. You going in the net. You going in elimination, and you got to fight your way back into the house. The whole house gathered around Jimmy, spoke up, not in a confessional, but to Jordan's face, that he was wrong for this comment. And you telling me Camilla can say a racist comment, call LeRoy a black everything in the book, and the whole house is silent, and they can only speak up in a confessional?
I don't know. See, that's my thing. That was my only really say critique. I can't really critique his experience, his emotions, but him giving a lot of credit to these white people defending him in their confessionals. Baby, don't give that too much credit. Don't give that too much credit. Because if they not with you on the street defending you in the moment, if let's go to the extreme. If it was LeRoy and a police officer and his white friend just stood by, said nothing, and then after a tragic situation, the friend is preaching on the stand and standing, let's march for LeRoy, that's not no friend after the fact. Your confessional and your testimony afterwards,
Confessional means nothing.
that's not something to be like, ooh, my boy stood up for me. No. Mm-mm.
But that's my whole point. You all made a stance for Jimmy, and Jimmy got all the mouth in the world. They made a stance for Jimmy, but you telling me you couldn't make those same verbal comments in person for LeRoy? Not even your best friend, Bananas? He couldn't say anything on camera to have your back, and that's supposed to be your best friend? Because LeRoy did go on to talk about how Bananas coached him not to, say anything, on camera, not to say certain things, for the game. And LeRoy admitted, I wanted to play the game, so I didn't want to be the angry black man and blah, blah, blah. But to me, that's not a true friend. And I don't want to say it because I feel like it's going to sound wrong, but sometimes that's why you need to have another black person in the house. White people will never understand how it feels to be called a black motherfucker by a Brazilian woman in a house full of, they don't understand the power of what Camilla said. They don't understand how LeRoy felt. I don't want to say, they're racist because they didn't say anything, but I'm saying they have no point of understanding. That's why they need to have more than one black person on the show. Because I guarantee if Cam would have been there,
Ooh.
if Davon would have been there,
it would have been.
If it would have been any other
royal
African American person there,
Royal
she would have been checked. Now that you right, Alana, because Nelson was there and he didn't say shit either, and Corey, but
was Nelson gone already? Because
I don't think so.
He was disqualified when he hit Derek. So if that happened earlier,
but I think Corey was there.
Was he?
No, I believe Nelson and Corey were there because LeRoy said in that video that when Camilla came back to the house, she came in the room where Nelson and Hunter was, and they both left. So Nelson was still there.
And let me break down this segment right now. For those that are not understanding why we are mentioning anyone, why we are mentioning other people other than Camilla, it's because when you are a bystander to a situation, you are enabling the situation. There was a video on TikTok that went kind of viral, and the guy was like, what's a controversial thing that you believe that nobody wants to understand? And he said, this black man, educated black man, he said that non-racist white people are the reason racism does not end. His explanation was, is because those white people, instead of educating their family members, instead of educating their friends and educating other white people, they sit back. Oh, that wasn't me. I didn't say that. I'm one of the good guys. I didn't say it. I still love my uncle, whatever he says. Y'all don't look past worse things, like if they were a pedophile, if they were a murderer. Y'all don't look past that. But let them be racist. Oh, that's still my uncle. He's just my uncle. No, y'all are an issue. And when a racist person, I don't want to just say white person, because Camilla, as a person of color, she still did a racist act towards LeRoy. If a racist person seeks comfort in you, you are their safe space. I don't care how much of an ally to the black community you think you are. The fact that Camilla didn't apologize to LeRoy, but she pulled Tony aside and talked to Tony, that's a problem. Because Tony is her safe space. If you're a racist person's safe space, you're also a part of the problem.
Because you need to tell them they're wrong, why they're wrong. Let's get to the apology, because it's the non-apology of it all. It's the fact that we know it wasn't a drunken night, but let's just say if it was just a drunken night, you would immediately come in the house and apologize. It was the fact that the next day when she came in the house, she looked at LeRoy, walked straight past him, went to Tony so they could have a game talk because I guess they were the winners of the week or whatever it's called back in 30. You apologize to Tony. You tell Tony how sorry you were for last night. You tell Tony how you're not a racist person. But then when it's time to go in the living room in front of the group, you still say nothing to LeRoy. It takes for LeRoy to say, hold up, TJ, Camilla, you ain't got nothing to say. Which means it tells me she was never sorry. And I wouldn't even have wanted her apology after that.
Right. And TJ and production, we're not just going to walk in here and say, well, the winners were. Mm-mm.
Right.
Mm-mm.
When he can get, TJ can get, and see, I didn't like how, I understand LeRoy's still friends with some of these people, but I didn't like how, TJ can only say what production asked him to say. So I didn't fault him for not bringing it up. No, TJ a grown-ass man. And by 30, he had been into this show for so long, he can have an input of saying, I want to address this. He can come in there and say how he doesn't tolerate bullying. He doesn't tolerate any violence. He doesn't tolerate any of whatever nonsense. But you telling me somebody gets called a black motherfucker and you have no words, and that person was your friend and you have no words, or production didn't tell you to address it, so you have no words.
So Angie, in that moment, I want to try to put us there. In that moment, if you were LeRoy, TJ comes in, he goes straight into talking about the competition. Do you think you would have had the nerve to halt the situation and bring it up, or would you have been waiting for somebody else to do it? Because that's where I'm kind
If
of
I was
conflicted.
TJ,
If you were LeRoy,
I felt like LeRoy, if LeRoy didn't halt the situation to bring it up, it probably would never be discussed. It would have never been discussed. I'm proud that he at least in that moment said, hold up, we're not gonna sit here and just play this game and act like Camilla didn't do all of what she did to me. Bitch, you ain't got nothing to say.
right? That part I am proud. The reason I asked that question is because in even with the shock factor for me, I don't even know if I would have been able to cut TJ off on camera without like me looking around seeing if somebody else is gonna say something. Because for me, if y'all my friends, y'all Jimmy, Bananas,
Right.
y'all did all
Bananas,
this,
anybody could have.
y'all did all this talking in confessionals. Why are y'all not bringing it up? That's my thing. I'm looking for some white people to correct this situation. So that's where I
None
would have
of
been.
if they didn't bring it up in real time, they wasn't gonna bring it up right then. I think it took LeRoy however many years since 30 to realize that sometimes white people just don't have your back. And it doesn't they could be your friend, they could be, your challenge buddy like Bananas, they could give you all the heartfelt hugs like Jimmy. You could kiki with them because I think he said he had his house in Vegas and all of them would come spend the night at his house. You could party with them or everything. To me, friendships are tested when I need you in my time of need. What do you do in my time of need?
Right.
What do you do, like this person said, when I'm on an island and I feel all alone and all I need is one person to have my back? That's a test of friendship. I think LeRoy just after time realized none of these motherfuckers are my friends.
Right. And that's something else for the viewers to understand. It's not just a black or white thing. Because me being an LGBT person, if you are an ally, or if you have a son or a nephew or somebody that's gay, and you sitting around with people like Lil Boosie and them and the girls while they are being homophobic and stuff, and you are silent, you're part of the problem. In those moments, you are supposed to speak up. You might not be gay, but you're supposed to speak up in those moments. Otherwise, you're also a problem.
Mm-hmm. Your silence shows that you're okay with it. Because if you're not okay with something, you're gonna say, look, this is not okay.
Right. Just because it ain't you don't mean it's not an issue. That's the problem. People are so individualist. It's like, well, they're not talking to me. She's not coming after me. So that's LeRoy's problem.
I also wanted to discuss, because he also put MTV on it, and how, MTV dropped the ball. He discussed that it I think it pissed everybody off, especially if, like me, watching that show, seeing Camilla won the show. She won $450,000. Didn't even show up to the reunion to even apologize then. She won the money, didn't even show up, and then was invited back for the very next season of Champs versus Stars. I think he said it filmed a month later.
See, I didn't even watch Champs versus Stars, but he said that she did it again in Champs versus Stars.
She did. She had a drunken breakdown where she started fighting production and tearing shit up again. I think it was night one, and she was kicked off the show.
Oh, I didn't watch Champs versus Stars, so I don't know of that situation. But and for me, Dirty 30 is like my favorite season. Like
I like 30,
love
30, 30.
I love Dirty 30 for the cast. They had a
Mm-hmm.
very strong cast for Dirty 30. It's not like today where like 3/4 of the bitches is they are
Does your
literally
perception of the cast change after hearing LeRoy's heartfelt, how he felt in that moment? Because I will
well.
admit, as a Black woman, when I watched that moment,
Mhm.
I was pissed, but I think I got more emotional now knowing how LeRoy felt. Because a lot of time, and it's not even a Black or white thing, we look at men as being stronger. You know, he's
Mhm.
such a strong person, he's handling it well. Because the way he handled it on television, I felt was okay. But seeing how he said the things that he said then, because he didn't want to piss off MTV, he didn't want to be not invited back to another challenge, because that's at that time how he made his money. Like,
Right.
I feel like I have to hold my tongue and not give my honest feelings, because when he said this, and Charles, when he said it, it reminded me so much of a work situation I had in the past, when he said, I'm sitting here saying my words to make sure the white people are comfortable. I want to make sure the white people on the cast are comfortable, so I can't say, what I really want to say. That shit is where I almost had a tear, because I felt it.
That's corporate
And
America. That is corporate America
that's where I work.
101.
That's where I work. I I felt it. Just maybe this had to be maybe 2 years ago. I had somebody on my team that made me feel the exact same way. And mind you, I'm the fucking supervisor. I'm the fucking supervisor. And this person had me feeling that exact same way, because he was an older white gentleman. He doesn't work for me anymore, but I'm still not going to say names. But he never called me Angie. He never would say my name. He would only call me boss. Like, yes, boss. How you doing, boss? Okay, boss. I'll get right on it, boss. And he said it in that southern twang that kind of sound like them old slave movies, and it irked me. Every time he said it, it got under my skin. And I was like, why can't you just call me Angie? And I'm the only Black person in my department, the only Black person in management. So I didn't feel like the other people who were higher up than me would understand how I felt. I didn't want them to
Right.
think I was going to be a problem. But shit, he was wrong for calling me boss. And when LeRoy said that shit, I was like, yeah, I was internalizing that shit, because I wanted the white people to be comfortable, instead of me saying, he's saying something to me that's offending me. Can you do something about it?
Right.
And that's, like you said, it's fucked
Correct
up
that
that Black people
behavior.
have to do that daily. And I think that's what people don't understand, is we maneuver through this world in the same way LeRoy was talking about. And sometimes we don't even be conscious that we're doing it.
Yeah. Code switching has become so second nature that I don't even know when I'm doing it. I don't know when I'm doing it. And the funny thing is, I was sitting in the car with my mom and my brother, and I do this weird thing. If you are a person of color in the comment section, please let me know if you do this. We were sitting in the car in front of a restaurant or something, and a white lady walked out the door. Mind you, we're sitting right in front of the door. And I smiled at her randomly. When we made eye contact, I smiled. I gave her a grin. The white lady did not smile back. She kept walking, which made me acknowledge, wait, I just did that to try to make her feel comfortable that we were making eye contact. That shit blew
And she still
my
wasn't
mind.
comfortable. And her ass still wasn't comfortable.
That blew my mind that in that moment, I just acknowledged when I make eye contact with white people, I smile, like I grin at them to let them know that I am not a threat to you. And I shouldn't have to do that. But it's so subconscious now. I just do, it just happens without thinking. Yeah.
I have two more points I want to point out, and then I want to get to some of the questions in the comments. I want to talk about big corporations pandering to America after the George Floyd situation, and it seemed like the entire world was protesting for Black Lives Matter. It seems mighty convenient that now, after the whole Black Lives Matter movement, mind you, Black lives have always mattered since there's been a Black life, but it's mighty convenient now. CBS and Viacom and MTV, all these corporations, we need to have more Black people on the show. What if we have 6 Black people instead of 1? What if we have 3 instead of 2? You know, it's kind of like
the diversity is important. We want it because that's what we've been complaining about. As somebody that's been auditioning,
but it took to that situation for people to say, okay, let's listen now. Or forget the diversity. How about the D's of the world? The who else did some races? I guess.
Oh,
the D.
Australian.
Yeah, D. And you know, the new people of the world who've done something racist, they aren't invited back. And let's get to this comment right here, because I ain't gonna never find it. It was too far up, but I wanted to address it. I'm not gonna find it. Somebody said something about Ashley, and I wanted to disagree with their comment. Out of love, but I wanted to disagree.
Let me find you so I can disagree.
No, they said something about Ashley.
Where you at?
I ain't gonna never find it. Lord have mercy. Oh, there it is.
If y'all are in here,
and that's why Ashley was going home. Oh yeah, give us a thumbs up.
Give a thumbs up to this video.
And I like you. I always fuck your name up. Matt. Me and you are here because you always in the comments. I want to out of love disagree with you. You said, and that's why Ashley going home is important. It's like Shorn Production is learning that it's not okay to let hateful side or comments slide, even though they should have shown it. No. Production has not learned anything, because as far as the everyday person outside of the people who are in the room with Josh and Ashley and whatever was said, we don't know why Ashley went home. Right. She could have broke her toe for all we know. She could have broke her toe, split her lip. She could have had a drunken night and packed her own bags for all that we know. Mm-hmm. By them not showing what Ashley said and letting Ashley sit and her canceling that she deserves, is showing that production has learned nothing. Because you learn by showing us what the fuck Ashley did. That's how you teach people, so you can say, don't do this shit. This is the shit we're canceling. But us at home, we don't know what the fuck Ashley did. Right. We've seen Ashley quit out of nowhere.
She could have said something offensive. She could have hit somebody. She could have threw something at something. We have no clue what she did. Now, let me bring this up with production tactics. The timing of this video is very eerie for me because of what he was saying towards the end.
The end.
When I already know what you're going to say. Mm-hmm. I feel like LeRoy is going to make a comeback. LeRoy is coming back. I already feel that in my spirit.
You think he's welcome after saying this?
that LeRoy, yeah, if they have a PR person, they know to make right with LeRoy. Now with his statement that they better be careful with benching somebody for a while and then bringing them back, lets us know that MTV probably has been talking to Camilla, and Camilla may have been on the works of coming back to a regular season
Probably an
or
All
All
Stars.
Stars.
You saw how LeRoy said MTV follows Camilla, but they don't follow him.
Mm-hmm. The thing is, nowadays, with accountability and social media, back in the day, there were only certain channels. There used to only be like 5 channels on TV, for real, back in the day, where a white person or a big corporation could cancel you and you had no voice. Nowadays, there's so many avenues, so many platforms, everybody got a blog. So they are so quick to jump on PR issues. They are going to do what it takes to make it right with LeRoy. I'm telling you, they're not going to be able to just do the Janet Jackson to him and be like, oh no, we're stripping you of everything you got and you won't be up here on no more. They can't do that now. Not in 2021. Mm-mm.
Because they can just go to another network.
Right. Mm-mm. No, because then all the blogs is going to be calling MTV out.
Oh, now after LeRoy's video, now they want to unfollow Camilla.
I'm telling you. Okay. That's why I'm telling you, Angie. They're going to do whatever it takes to make it right with LeRoy now that they have been called to the table, which I live for. I love it. I'm ready. I'm ready to see what this come with. And hopefully,
but you think LeRoy is going to come back as well? I think if LeRoy comes back, it will only be on All Stars.
But LeRoy said he was with. I've seen LeRoy in another clip or some type of post. He said he was actually willing to come back. I've seen him say that before. Now him addressing his retirement, I don't know. But I've heard him state that, he would be willing to come back. So I think it'll be on a regular season. I think when Bananas come back, we're gonna see LeRoy come back.
We might. I think Andrew, it wasn't Bananas that said something racist towards her. That was the season of Bloodlines, and it was Bananas' cousin who was calling her a ghetto name instead of calling her Cheyenne, which to me is racist. Like, did you know my name?
Can we take a poll in the comments real quick? Let's take a poll. And I want y'all to there's no judgment here. It's 20 of y'all in here, 19 of y'all in here. No judgment. I want y'all to put down, the question is, does Camilla get a redemption? Should she be allowed back on the show? Because that seems like the trajectory. Can you put a 1 if no, and 2 if yes, or just the words no or yes in the comments? I want to see what you think. Because like LeRoy said, we don't know who she is nowadays. We know we're addressing who she was, but we don't know who she is now. And LeRoy said this is no hate to her, but do y'all think she should be allowed to come back? Yes or no?
Everyone is saying no. No.
1.
No. Absolutely not.
Okay, now next question. We're gonna take another poll. Do y'all think D should be allowed to come back? Yes or no? What was D's specifics of her situation?
D made a comment because she made a comment under something Bailey said about Black Lives Matter, saying she loved Black lives because she liked black dick. It was in that realm. That might not have been the exact words, but it was in the realm. That was the gist of what D said.
Should D be able to come back? Yes or no?
No.
I don't want to be the devil's advocate.
Some people say yes to D. A lot of no's.
Because some people,
it's about half and half.
Some people's opinion is like on the other side. Is like
if she is educated.
Right. People grow, people change. Should now they be allowed to regain access? Because MTV is a platform, it's a privilege. Um, should these banned people be able to come back? That's really what I want to talk about. Like, what do you think, Angie?
For Camilla, absolutely not. For D, um, I hate giving people a pass because
Mm-hmm.
she grown and she should know. But I think D was insensitive, but she didn't have hatred behind her comment. I think she made an insensitive comment, definitely didn't read the room, definitely didn't read the moment. It was not the moment to say what she had to say. And I think she was trying to be funny, but it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like D got it the hardest because D made her comment during the Black Lives Matter moment,
Moment.
during the
Right.
George Floyd moment. So it was kind of like, bitch, canceled. That's what I mean by pandering. Like, because if you really cared about racism, Camilla would have been canceled 5 years ago. If you really
Oh,
cared about
the
racism.
challenge, the
And,
challenge
and
been
like you said,
racist.
going further
Been
back.
racist.
Right. So they didn't I feel like MTV has to be educated before you can even educate the guests. Educate your corporate room casting. If you're going to make a rule, it has to be uniform to everyone,
Mm-hmm.
star or not. That's why, like what Ashley did to me. Ashley is someone who's going on the bench. They might send Ashley out for 2 or 3 seasons. Ashley will be back because we don't know what Ashley did. So how
That's
can
the
we
next
really get
question.
mad?
In the
How can
comment
we really
section,
get mad?
should Ashley be able to come back? We don't even know what the hell she did.
Ashley should not, but I guarantee you, if anybody, he
In the
probably made that
comments.
comment for Ashley as anybody who was benched needs to stay benched because that's the problem with not showing what Ashley done. Our brains, it ain't. We ain't gonna remember. We gonna be like, oh, Ashley's back, but we know what Camilla did.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what Ashley did, and then we got to put on our thinking cap. Like, why the fuck was Ashley even gone?
What they
Especially if
saying?
Josh, they're saying
No.
no to Ashley.
No. No. Do
So
I think Ashley should be able to come back?
I don't think she will, but I think they will allow her to in 2 or 3 seasons.
I
Especially
don't.
if it's a season Josh isn't on. They're gonna be
Are they
like,
gonna Are they gonna address what she did? That's my thing. Like, y'all need to
no,
put some type of statement out telling us what happened.
no. Because they could have easily, even if they didn't want to show the scene, they could have easily put up a little video at the end. We don't tolerate homophobia. Like, if you have a friend that says something against LGBT, they can get educated here. They put that stuff up at the end of the episodes all the time. They said nothing. So we have no clue of
Right,
what,
but it's
like I
something she
said,
said. But that's the thing, Angie. We don't know if she said
and it's
something
so bad,
homophobic.
Charles. The cast
Did
is
she?
still silent. The cast is still silent. Like the most they'll say, like Devins, the Tories, everybody. Ashley said something really bad. I don't think she can come back, but it was so bad I don't even want to say what it was. Like MTV has the cast under gag order, so the cast can't even say what Ashley did.
Yeah, because I sent you that. I sent you that article where
With
Nelson
Nelson,
was talking, but he really won't give it no tea. He was talking
right?
around
You
it.
just saying Ashley said something really bad, and yeah, we understand why she had to go home. She should have went home, but you aren't saying what it was, which means MTV has learned nothing. Ashley, I guarantee you, will be back because the cast is under gag order. They can't say anything, and they won't even mention it. They won't even say that she got into it with Josh.
They're saying Jordan shouldn't come back. What did Jordan do? I must have missed something. I don't remember what Jordan did.
Jordan was racist on the Real World, but Jordan is an asshole, and a lot of his stuff could be borderline racist and insensitive anyway. It don't even matter what Jordan did. But Jordan is going to be on All Stars 3, so obviously we know he's coming back.
But I like Jordan. And I don't like Jordan as a person. I don't care about him. I don't know him.
You like him as
like
a competitor
don't know
in
her.
the game.
Right. I want to see people that compete. I am tired of watching these layups argue every week. This is not entertaining to me. If you, to be honest, I'm willing to bring back all the problematic bitches if we gonna get a all competitor season. If we gonna get all competitors,
they'll never do that.
If you gonna bring Camilla back, Cam better be there. Davon better be in that bitch. If you gonna let her come, if you gonna let D come back, Bailey better be there. We need an all competitor season where they can confront it face to face. I don't care.
You know what, Charles?
Mm-hmm.
I've been thinking about it when you said the timing of it all. I bet you they did invite Camilla to an All Stars or something, and LeRoy got wind of it because a lot of people who watch the challenge now, because a lot of people know I'm older, so I've been watching the challenge since it started back in '99. A lot of the younger people who don't know Camilla, who probably never even watched Dirty 30, would see Camilla and wouldn't think anything of it. So LeRoy said, bitch, let me address this Camilla situation now so I can refresh your memory of why this bitch don't need to be on the show. I don't know. I do feel like MTV will try to reach out to some problematic people, but we need to hold people accountable. And one person who never needs to come back is Camilla because she's never even apologized. She's not sorry, and she would definitely do it again.
See, that's where I differ. I want to see the girls fight. I want to see the girl. I want her and Cam on the same season with LeRoy there, and I want all competitive bitches there. I want every man, woman, child, producer there to be an athlete. I want them to have the best of the best. Emily, Laurel, all of them problematic people better be there, and I need them to scrap it out. Royal Rumble style. That's what I want to see on the challenge.
It's not going to happen because everything is about image now.
Yeah, that's why they got a boring season. This season is a snoozer. Snooze fest. The Survivor Zone. We getting 2 people going home tonight on Survivor.
What I need to know, because I can't scroll all the way back up through the comments, but I saw it earlier in the video. Somebody said something about Tori got cussed out in the comments by Cam.
Cam said something to her. Let me go to the video and I can tell you.
Yeah. That's what I want to know, because I'm ready to give Tori a cussing out.
Drew got all these likes on his comment. Okay, Drew.
Cause see what's gonna happen. MTV not gonna have a show.
Bananas commented, "It breaks my heart that you've had to live with this pain for so long. I'm sorry I didn't do more for you in the moment."
Bananas could have did everything in the world in a moment. He needed production to step in when Devin was walking around the house following him. But you didn't know what to do in the moment for a racist comment. Right. Miss me with it, Bananas.
What's Tori's name on Twitter?
Cam called Tori a performative. That's the comment. A performative activist.
That's the word, Angie.
The key word is performative.
That's the word. The girls was doing that on Big Brother.
They do it every day.
They do it all the time. Josh was up here.
She said Tori is an opportunist, and so is Jimmy. I think Jimmy was sincere. If anybody, I would believe Jimmy was sincere.
I don't see Tori's.
I was Zuda. Bananas is your best friend. What do you mean you could have done more? Like,
yeah, he said I wish I did more in this moment.
It's no way somebody gonna cut my best friend and I'm not gonna say nothing to him. LeRoy wasn't asking you to fight a woman. He wasn't asking you to cuss her out. LeRoy just wanted somebody to have his back and say, this is not okay. Production, can you check her? That's all he needed was for somebody to have his back. And you telling me a best friend, as your best friend, the most you can do is throw a pillow as a bitch is walking away? Mm-mm.
And for me,
That's
you don't
not
even have
your
to be my
best
best
friend,
friend.
Leroy. That is
You don't
not.
even have
That's
to be
not
my
your
best
friend.
friend.
Period.
Right.
That's not your friend. Period.
Oh,
I was
here's
almost
Tori's
about to say
comment.
something, but I'm gonna keep it to myself.
I'm looking for Cam's comment
Oh,
under her.
Jimmy said that about Tori. I agree. I
Tori
agree.
says, Tori says, sending you love, Lee. And I'm looking for Cam's comment under here. If it is here.
Tori just said something so she could say that she said something.
Right.
You know how some people just got to say praying for you, just to say that they said something. Like, bitch,
Right. Say happy
you
birthday.
ain't
Just
sending nothing.
you can't
Right.
say I didn't say nothing. Yeah, I don't see Cam's comment under here unless Cam says something on her own page.
They said it in the comments that Cam said something to Tori on the I'm messing with my camera. I'm sorry. I was trying to get a piece of paper. But I really felt for Leroy. Um we need to be more aware of our black men and not just think that they're so strong that they can't be hurting. We need to check on them. We need to speak up for them. We need to have their backs. And
I don't think it's just black men. I think it's black people, period.
no,
Women
I'm
are
saying it as a
women.
black man because as a black woman, I didn't know Leroy was feeling like this. Like when I watched the TV show, I thought
Mhm.
Leroy said what he had to say to get it off his chest, not knowing that's how he really felt. And as a black woman, if I was there, we should have, asked him like, "Are you really okay?" Because the slap in the face of it all, when Leroy said production didn't send Camilla home, but asked him if he needed counseling.
Right.
Not the angry bitch. Do she need counseling? But they asked Leroy, "Can we get you some counseling?" No, how about you get the trauma out of the house? Why do I have to live in the house with the person who was traumatic to me? How about that? But
Yeah. Well, that was the video. Um, Interested to see where this goes. I do expect MTV to go like on an apology spree for
you
the
think so?
next.
I think MTV will say nothing.
No, for the next couple months, MTV is going to be doing things behind the scenes to correct this behavior. That's why they unfollowed Camilla. They're going to do small things to be on good terms with Leroy because corporations nowadays with social media, they are very, very, very sensitive on not being canceled. So PR departments are always booked and busy and on it. Um, yeah, that's why I'm also excited about this Janet Jackson thing coming. But yeah,
You ain't gonna let
you
me
ready?
forget it. I don't remember when it's coming out, but I know whatever day it is, Charles is not gonna let me forget. And I'm gonna watch it too. I'm gonna watch it because
Yeah,
I got some shit to say about that too.
because the thing this and we might go. I might go live on my channel. You can join me to talk about it. But
Okay.
the Janet Jackson thing, the documentary on Friday is a New York Times like deep dive
So it's
into.
not gonna be biased.
It's not supposed to be biased. We will see. About the Super Bowl incident and how race and sexism had to do with it, and hopefully they call out names. Hopefully they spill receipts. I need all the juice to be on the table. I need to be all on the floor. Spilt.
I'm not gonna say everything I have to say. I'm gonna watch it first. But
Mm-hmm.
from what I'm seeing right now, the direction it looks like it's going, I'm gonna call bullshit because if this deep dive only blames the wardrobe department and it was all wardrobe's fault,
Right.
they didn't wasted their money.
Right. But don't forget, Janet Jackson has a 2-day special coming in February. Um, a 4-hour 2-day special where she goes through her career and gets her tea from the
From
truth, the
her own
source.
lips. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that
So
has to deal with Janet Jackson, Charles will never let me forget.
just DM me and ask your questions. I will let you know.
Okay, well, I'm so happy we went. We did a good hour. I'm so happy we got our 2 cents on the situation out there because I feel like not a lot of people like to address the situation at hand. A lot of people like Tori just want to say, sending you love, LeRoy. No. How about we take what LeRoy said and have a real conversation about what he said? That's how you show people love.
Mm-hmm.
You have a real conversation. You try to educate people about exactly what he meant that he said. That's how you show people love because that's how you put an end to it. That's how you get more people to understand how we feel and not just want to have, I want to send you some love, but we know the world racist. How about stopping people from being racist by having a conversation? So that's why I'm happy you joined me tonight, Charles. I felt like we had a great conversation tonight. We got a little bit of tea, but I think we really hit the nail home by just understanding how he felt, and hopefully the executives will look at people's opinions on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and make authentic change and not just let's pacify LeRoy so he won't call out any more of our stuff. Like, no, how about making real change on the show before you ruin the show?
Well, thank y'all for
And I
joining. The
don't think
girls,
y'all are moving in the right direction because that Ashley situation shows me you're not moving in the right
the
direction. You
girls,
just want
the
to put
girls was
band-aids
active in
on
the
stuff.
comments today. The
You all were
comments was
great on the
blowing.
comments. I could not, I think me and Charles were talking so much, I couldn't go through like we always do and read all the questions and comments, but I'll go back through them and read them later. But I appreciate you all for coming through and watching. We had a great time. Charles, you know, we might go over on Charles' channel for sure. He's gonna be live and we're gonna talk about this Janet Jackson thing on Friday or
Friday.
Saturday.
Right.
But
We need to
it
watch. I
was
need
a
to get
great
to Survivor.
conversation. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, Survivor is on. Charles said it's gonna be good tonight. And then, you know, tomorrow night we will be back with Drew and do the trio. We're gonna catch up on the past 3 episodes of the Challenge 37, and then Charles and myself will be back tomorrow night to go over this great episode of Survivor that we're getting ready to watch. And if you're interested, I set up the live. I'm 11 minutes late. Where I'm going to do my All Stars 2 cast assessment because I'm going to do my first All Stars review on Friday after the episode on Thursday because they didn't show elimination or nothing. So at one point of starting a review on a cliffhanger.
Yeah, I don't hate
So
this cast. I think the All Stars 2 cast is pretty. It's pretty good.
I enjoyed the entire cast.
They
It's
seem
only
pretty.
about three
They
people I
seem
don't
pretty
know.
passionate. Even the people
Mm-hmm.
that suck are like, I'm about to kill this. I'm here. Okay, girl.
Yeah, maybe no quitters this season. It seemed like everybody quit last season.
Right.
Everybody was like, it's my turn to go elimination. I'll go. But okay, Charles, I'm going to let you get to it so I can get to this live because I got to get my notes for Survivor everything. And thank you all, and we'll see you all tomorrow night.
Bye.
Bye.